Hi everyone, welcome to episode 19 of Chicago Soccer Talk with Collin. I am very excited to begin the first episode of 2024 for the YouTube show. There's been a lot of Red Stars news lately, so I thought it was a great time to begin discussing that here on the channel. So for the Red Stars, some of the valuable news that has occurred is there has been the NWSL Draft. So the Red Stars selected 5 players yesterday. They also had some free agent moves that have occurred and trades that they have dealt out as well. So for today's episode 19, I won't be discussing anything about the Chicago Fire, because there's not really any news at all to discuss or break down. No new free agent moves, trades, complete teardown of the club rumors, no more updates. So for today's episode, we'll just focus on the Red Stars. So let's begin. So some of the earlier moves that occurred before the draft was first, longtime player Kruger. She decided to finally leave the club in free agency. So Kruger, after a up and down career for the Red Stars, when healthy, she was a very talented defender. She was on the U.S. women's national team, one of the more solid defenders overall, but she got hurt a lot, which was an issue. She finally left, so she joined the Washington Spirit free agency. So the Kruger era is over. As a fan, I'll miss her, but just didn't get to see her enough lately on the pitch due to injuries and other things that are going on. And she doesn't fit the timeline per se of what the Red Stars new management has stated, owner has stated they're looking for. So if she wants to go to the playoffs, it's probably best to leave what she did. Next player to leave was Tierna Davidson, also been on Red Stars for a number of years. Women's national team member, one of the best defenders in the league. Another issue, just like Kruger though, when she got hurt pretty often, was off the field a lot for other issues as well. And when she was on the pitch, very solid defender, but I haven't seen her play, to be honest, in TV or in person in a while. I think the last time I saw her in person wasn't even a Red Stars match. It was when I went with my friend Gigi Bull to a Chicago Fire match. She was there, and we actually got to say hello to her after the match, but that was just a Fire match, not Red Stars. And her career also was very solid for Red Stars. The 2 Red Stars veterans have finally left. So Davidson went to Gotham FC to win a title, because they did last season, so maybe she wants to get her first one immediately. Then one more move that actually stayed, didn't happen, was Mary Swanson, one of the best players in the league, probably the best player on the Red Stars for sure, re-signed for the Red Stars to stay in Chicago. I was hoping she would, because her husband, Danzy Swanson, plays for the Cubs. I was hoping that living in Chicago might be enough, and maybe leading the team, which she will be, would be enough for her to want to stay, which she did. So she decided to re-sign. Thank goodness, because we lost her. The team's already probably destined for last place finish, but would be even worse. Like, I don't know how bad. So she signed, thank goodness. One of my favorites in the team. Those are the main moves along that front. Then we fast forward to NWSL Draft, which occurred yesterday. There were a variety of moves that transpired. The Red Stars did some wheeling and dealing in terms of trades for allocation of money, trades in general. One of the big trades they did was beginning of the day. They acquired star defender, one of the best in the league, Washington Spirit's Samantha Staub. She won multiple awards last season, one of the best defenders in man-to-man coverage, on the ball defense. She was excellent last season, Defender of the Year awards. Now the Red Stars acquire. She's only 26 too, so not past her prime or veteran who's preparing for the twilight. she's still in her prime, so that's very helpful. So based on the age of all the players now the Red Stars have, she fits the timeline pretty well. So that's good. Samantha Staub definitely easily becomes probably second best player on the club in terms of not goalie on the field. She'll definitely slide into spots that we've lost. We've lost a number of players who left. There's more to mention that I'll discuss. And big pickup. All we lost was a draft pick. We had other ones. We still had 5 other ones we used. So he's traded a first round pick for Samantha Staub. Good move overall. I think pretty solid. I don't think it's enough to help the team get out of the basement or second to worst in the league, especially with the new clubs joining. But at least it shows the team's willing to make moves that are positive for the fans and building the clubs for improvement. Some other moves that occurred before we discuss the 5 draft picks is first, longtime Red Star, beloved by the fans. One of my favorites of all time on Red Stars, been in the league, longtime veteran from Japan, Yuki Nagasato, left yet again. So she was on the Red Stars for years. Beloved player, great person, always gave her all as a forward. She decided, it wasn't really her choice per se, but she was traded in an expansion draft to Racing Louisville a couple seasons ago. So then she was gone. So like, oh no, she's gone. But then the Red Stars, she resigned last year. So she joined the club again once she left Racing Louisville. So DJ Brandy Bull and I were like, oh yeah, she's back. And then once the season ended, she's like, I'm leaving yet again. So then she left. So then she signed with the Houston Dash instead, which I'm a huge Dash fan, a second favorite team, easily in the league. So as a fan, I'm very excited she joined the club. And to be honest, as our player mentioned, she didn't fit the timeline or the type of player the Red Stars are coveting at the moment. Veteran, been in the league a long time, highly experienced. They're looking more for younger players. I wouldn't be shocked if a team didn't offer her a deal. Like she just signed up for a different team instead, which was the Dash. That wouldn't surprise me. Next player to discuss. Oh, she had a long legacy. She'll definitely be missed. Another player to discuss is Erin Wright, longtime defender, been in the team 9 years. She's been Iron Woman. She's missed like no matches really at all. She's been pretty healthy throughout her career. She's had injuries, but overall pretty healthy. Definitely one of the strongest veteran type defenders on the club. She was traded. So she got traded to Racing Louisville on the draft day. And she requested a trade according to news reports. She went to management and said, I'd like to be traded to Louisville, something closer to home. Because she's from Kentucky. Erin Wright is gone. And also she's a veteran, highly experienced too, so I guess she doesn't fit the timeline per se, if you're looking at it that way. I'm not really sure where the Red Stars are going for the moment. Based on the players they're acquiring through free agency or drafting or other means, they're trying to do a full rebuild, full gut job with the whole entire roster. That's their main goal, it seems. They want to be extra bad so they can get great draft picks. But my feeling is that in the NWSL, for example, like even if you tank, it doesn't mean at all that you'll be good. Because like for example in hockey or basketball or football, you can get a legendary player in the first round, like a first overall pick. Still might not be good, but if they're like a great generational talent like LeBron James, which can occur sometimes, then it'll help you really well, and the team will be good for long term. But in women's soccer, there's players who turn out to be very good, but it's hard for me to know how good they will become because trades happen all the time in the draft. Like a team will have the first overall pick and they're like, we'll trade it for money. So I'm like, is the player going to be amazing or do they want the money and didn't care? Like I'm not sure how that works because I'm still a newer fan, just like I've mentioned. But we'll see. They tanked already this season. They stunk. So next season, if they're trying to tank for worst overall pick, so the first one, I don't really know who it will be. I'll have to get more research into that, but that's their plan at the moment, seems to be. Finish last again. And then the last move that happened before I get to the draft picks was my favorite player on the Red Stars, my favorite player in all of the NWSL. It was great to meet her in person, get her autograph. She always gave it 150% on the pitch. One of the best defenders in the league. Star for the Canadian national team. Bianca St. has left the Red Stars. This one got me more emotional. I was very sad to see her leave. Some of our players I mentioned, they were enjoyable and they played well, were good stars on the team, but they played so little lately that I wasn't as broken up about it. But her leaving, that's more disappointing. In the business side, I understand why she left. Because even though she was easily one of the best defenders on the team, the Red Stars management was so poor that they didn't use her well. She wouldn't get enough playing time, enough minutes. She'd just sit on the bench, and players who weren't as good got minutes, which didn't make sense to me or my close friend Deidre Bull. We were at a loss of why they were misutilizing her skill level, talent, and experience. But she gets to go to North Carolina Courage now. She signed there. I think it was a great move for her. Hopefully she should start, which I think she will based on what I've heard in the news, media, and rumors, and how they're promoting the signing. I think she could start there, which is great. Let a different team use her better than the Red Stars, who failed to use Bianca St. correctly. Because when she did play, she was excellent. And even reports I saw, people said they were devastated, Red Stars fans, that she left. But she can make the playoffs probably next season on the Courage, which they did this season. So that's good. Because she finished last year again on this club. So they're going nowhere. But so Bianca St. era is over. One of my favorites overall. It's great meeting her and great seeing her play on the pitch. Excellent player in the league. Wish all the best to her future career on the Courage. Next, we have the NWSL Draft for the Red Stars, which occurred. They made a number of picks. A few of them that I want to discuss. And I'm going to try to look a little bit at it while I'm talking, because I don't have it memorized. But the first pick we had was Liana Nesbitt from Florida State. She's a midfielder. She started 20 games last year, had some goals, assists. She's excellent midfielder, according to sources, in defense as well, so defensive midfielder. She won different awards, all ACC teams, a star in the future, sounds like, from what all sources have said. So she joins the Red Stars as their first pick in the draft. She sounds very promising. But as with all things with drafts, the players sound promising, and you can read into their stats and how they played in the past in college or in different leagues. But you never know until they actually start playing. So I can sit here and say that she'll be the next big thing. But of course I don't know that until she actually starts playing. But for now it sounds very promising. Then next we had Jasmine Joseph from North Carolina State. She had 3 goals, 1 assist last year. She had lots of starts for the program. She had 24 goals overall. She also made the U.S. Women's Youth Camp before. And she sounds promising too, so that's good. Then we selected Hannah Anderson from Texas Tech and Bo Franklin from University of Arkansas. They both were Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, and Franklin also was SEC Midfielder of the Year. So we got a defender and our midfielder. Then last, Shashila Gaynor from Michigan State. First team All Big Ten selection last year. She had 9 shutouts, scored 5 goals. So those are the picks we got from the draft. Sound promising. Definitely the kind of players the Red Stars are looking to acquire and select. So that's really all the news I have. The Red Stars made some trades, free agents left, and then we lost some legendary players, and then we selected some in the draft. So at the moment, mixed opinions. Some of the draft picks look okay, but most of the players I've really liked as a fan have been leaving lately, last year included. A lot of the best players have left. Mallory Swanson re-signing was a blessing, while all the other ones that I'm a big fan of have left, which has not been the most exciting feeling. Hopefully the club improves or gets better. I'm not expecting a great season by any means, but hopefully at least there's some sign of improvement, not a last finish that showed no signs of life. Thank you. See you next time on Chicago Soccer Collin, signing off for now.